All right, there we go. Hey everyone, Cynics here again, and it is time for the weekly stream. So I'm gonna be doing some face drawing, some painting of different types. I don't really know. We're gonna draw some stuff and have fun. And I got a special treat for you. One of my friends came over to visit, so I got Sycra in the house with me. Hey Sycra. Never mind. I don't have him in the house. Damn it. Okay, or not.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're a jerk.
I am, but your screen's not showing anything.
I know, well, there's a delay. I don't know if
No,
you've
but it
ever
says
done
it's
this
live.
before.
It says it's live, but there's just a black streak.
I know, but you can hear me.
I can. I
You're
can
you're
hear
right
you.
here with me. You can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna personally start things out with some little painting exercise. I'm skipping the drawing phase. You can see I have a face here. It's one of my lovely patrons, and there you go. Some
Wait.
spirals for
Isn't
everyone. Yeah,
isn't there supposed to be some sound? Because like I really see nothing on your. Let me refresh, because maybe I'm seeing something.
you're terrible.
Oh,
Stop,
I see. Yeah,
stop
no, it's
interrupting
fine.
my stream.
It's fine. It's
Okay,
fine.
I know it's fine.
Everything's good.
It's a cynic stream. It's always fun. This is some rinky-dink Sycra Google Hangout. This is a proper stream.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got our stream going. I'm gonna be working on
Is
some.
that Chris Walker?
Does it look like that? Here, okay, here's my reference. I thought he kind of looked like a little bit like a Sean Beanish kind
Or
of.
Paul Walker, sorry. Chris Walker. Me and my Abel Walker.
I guess it could
Walking
be
down
like
the
a
street.
mixture of Sean Bean and Chris Walker. Sean Walker. Now you got me. Whatever. But anyway, this is one of my wonderful patrons, so here he is right here.
Oh.
And obviously, I'm doing my whole thing of giving them a tiny little body and a giant head because that's just fun to me. I don't know why.
Why didn't you make his eyes the way his eyes are?
Are they
Because his
different?
eyes are they're really far apart.
They're.
He has
Are they
little,
really far
little-
apart?
He has smaller eyes. They're not that big.
Okay, hold on. I can fix this.
Like he's got a very manly face.
I didn't
And
want
you
this
make
to
him-
be about drawing, but I know he does have a very manly face, and I wasn't. Obviously, that's one thing I've never been good at is drawing like manly. Anyway, just gonna wiggle that up.
Could you draw Jason Manley?
Yeah, I could actually. Oh man, is Jason Manley still doing stuff?
Yeah, he is, but I don't know what I think he stopped. He
The
quit
weird thing
Massive
about-
Black, and he.
Oh really? The weird thing about conceptart.org was like, I don't think he ever drew once he started the site. I don't remember
Yeah.
seeing him do much art. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna paint. I spread out the eyes a little. They're still kind of big. That's fine. I'll fix it in the painting process. I'm not gonna worry about it in the line art time. Just gonna work my way out. I don't want to get wrapped up in drawing. So anyway, I'm gonna be doing some painting stuff, and you guys are going to be, I don't know, talking to Sycra. You guys can filter your questions through Sycra. I'm sure you'll be a wonderful
If you
conduit.
can put like question before your questions, I can all caps or something. That'll make it easier for me to see your questions.
It does make it so much easier.
It does.
And you guys
It
can
does.
let me know if Sycra's too loud, because I can just keep shrinking his voice down.
He can turn me down. He can. I mean, he's good at turning me down.
Okay, I'm not sure what that means. It sounds dirty.
I'm not sure. No, I guess that would be turning me off.
No, turning me
down
on.
is for, like-
Turning me off? You mean
Turning
turning me
me
on?
down is for like, hey, what
Oh,
are you
you're right,
doing? Are you
okay.
playing? Are you playing Nintendo Wii? Can I play? And you're like, no, that's turning me down.
Go away, nerd.
Nerd.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my Cynic's Impasto brush and do some underpainting real fast. So yeah, feel free to talk to the chat.
Yeah. Hey, chat. How are you? Sycra's too loud. They say.
Is he?
They say.
Is he really
Well,
too loud? I
someone-
don't know if people are just gonna be joking though. Okay, I'm gonna lower you just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Just a tad lower.
Oh no, they said if you could just mute Sycra. Fuck, I mean, um, fun you.
Fun
I
you?
hope you have as much fun as possible. Okay, Prophet asks, question, how beneficial are photo studies? I took a lot of time and focused on rendering in colors, but the more I did it, the more I wondered why I was doing it.
Oh, it's pretty beneficial. I mean, in my opinion, they help you get used to different color schemes and lighting schemes and how colors work together. It just kind of ingrains things in your head. I mean, how are you gonna learn if you don't study some stuff from real life?
Well, yeah. You could study. I think the important thing with studies is to make sure you're not copying and you're analyzing. Like that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to just copy and not analyze, but you know.
No, I can do it.
You can do it?
I've done it.
That seems like a weird concept.
I've been doing it. I've been doing it
Your
for a
whole
long
life.
time. Right? Yeah.
Okay, so these colors are way off so far, but that's okay. I'm paying such little attention that it's gonna work out. I want to bring in more purpley tones.
You do that. But meanwhile, Takunta asks, what does blue sky phase mean?
What does what mean?
Blue sky phase.
I don't know what he's talking about.
It's the thing where there's in concept art you have the blue sky period where it's just like throw any ideas out there.
I don't know. I've never heard this before.
Really? You don't know
really?
about this? Yeah, that's what it is. It's when it's like if they're doing the initial concepts and it's a blue sky phase, it's like, oh, we kind of want an actiony thing, and then it's like, okay, so you might try dragons, you might try this, or even like, oh, we're going to try dragons, and then the blue sky period is like, do whatever, just do whatever dragons you can think of. You're free to do a lot of stuff, and then when it's not the blue sky phase, it's like, no, we've nailed it down to this, or we're working from a very specific IP, and it needs to look like this. It's not. It's more. You don't get to play around as much.
Why have I never heard this term?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe it's past my time.
Hanging out in the bird store too long.
I think so. I guess it's.
I'm sure you know a lot about seeds. Nobody knows. You'd be like, this is a blue sky seed. I know what that is.
A blue sky seed. I could tell you all about mulemans and all types of pigeon breeds. You know, Picasso loved pigeons very much. His dad was a famous pigeon painter.
Really?
Yeah, that's why the name Paloma.
I don't know.
You know, Paloma means is Spanish for pigeon. That's not a joke. No, I'm being very serious. Picasso is it's very famous for being pigeon.
Okay. Do pigeons remind you of rappers?
I don't know what you're going for.
Like not candy rappers, but I don't know. Like whenever I see them walking around with that head movement, like I'm like,
okay.
Anyway, okay.
Next question.
Marissa asked, did you guys hear YouTube is going to start making people pay to watch videos on a monthly subscription basis by June this year? Pretty crap.
I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to make that option available, right? Yeah.
It's optional.
I don't think me or Sycra would ever do anything like that, so. Would you? I wouldn't. F that.
No, I don't think I would. If ever I did, it would be if I wanted an easier way of teaching a group of students, maybe. Like if I was
like a specific
teaching anyway.
A specific.
Yeah, like
thing.
it wouldn't be a public thing. It would just be very private.
Yeah.
Rect 90 says Red Pill Sycra is better than this fake talking on stream. Well, I don't know what to say to that.
I agree. Oh man, painting's hard. The problem with this picture is like it's so saturated, kind of so like washed out, kind of color wise. It doesn't really inspire much, does it? It's okay. I'll figure it out.
So then, what are you doing to make up the difference? Like, where are you getting these colors from?
Well, okay. I'm not really figuring it out yet. Like for now, I'm just kind of messing around, and I don't feel like I've established anything yet. But basically, I can just go over the standard stuff where it's like colors of face, where you want to bring the yellows in the top and the reds in the middle part, and then blues, or technically, it's not gonna be blue. It's just gonna be desaturated. So the colder tones in the bottom part, and those will at least give me something to play with, right? Maybe.
Do you ever do the thing where you separate the lights and the shadows into two like separate entities right in the beginning?
Yeah, I do that sometimes. It seems so I don't know. It's just not standing out in this piece, so I didn't do it, but I probably could have.
Luke Hamilton asks, when do you use blue? When do you use blue in the face?
When the person's dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
When someone's really holding the. No, you don't really need to use blue because this.
Who is blue in the face?
Okay, what's your joke? What?
David Carradine.
Bravo. Okay, thanks, Red Pill Sycra. No, see, the main thing is you don't really need to, like, standard skin tones are already in these warm families, like these warm tones. So it's not like you need to use bright blue. You just use a desaturated tone, and this looks blue. Like, look at that. That looks kind of bluish. But that's really just a desaturated orange. So it's not like you need to go all the way over, unless you're doing, like, a bounce light or something. Like, you're like, oh, maybe there's a rim lighting around this side. And you can, bounce some blues in. And that's kind of fun a lot of times. But, I don't know. But I usually use blues for, obviously, anywhere there's stubble, or some parts where there's maybe around the eye areas, if you want it to look more like grayish and kind of darkish. Some people have those dead-looking eyes. But usually I like these. I like to go purples around the eyes, generally.
I have that.
Purples are... I love purples around the eyes. It's the most fun.
Okay. Someone says...
What is that background noise you're bringing into me?
My fan from my computer.
Oh man, that thing's loud. Okay.
It's super loud. I don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
I tried spanking it. I've tried, nothing works. Sycra, do you ever join Sycra.net Hangouts? Because I want to talk to you one day. Yeah.
You guys have your own Hangouts?
I have. There's a bunch. Sycra.net is a thriving community, all without me.
That's...
probably because I'm not around. But... Oh, there's more questions for me. I shouldn't answer those, right?
I mean, if they're art related, I don't really care. You can talk about
Okay,
stuff.
SkyC asks, Sycra, you've been practicing a lot of drawing aspect of your style in PC? Oh, Pointy Chins. Because drawing is more important. Are you planning on incorporating painting into your style like it was before? I think, yeah, but not so much for studies, because I find it's less... Like, painting to me is very easy. I don't want to make that... Like, that makes me sound douchey to say that,
oh, yeah,
but I find that drawing is much harder than painting, and once you understand drawing, painting is like... I don't know, it's like, you know those where you fill in the colors and the paint by numbers thing? Mm-hmm. Imagine paint by numbers is... The drawing is the actual thing that has the lines, and then the paint by number, the painting is just a filling in the color. It's like, that's not hard. Filling in the color isn't hard, but knowing where the color goes is hard. So, I don't know. I guess I'll paint more. Question from Tekuntan. Do you two like the design on Michael Bay's Transformers? I personally like it very much, but a lot of people dislike it.
Who did a good one? Before the Transformers movie came out, I think when it was just announced, it was like Andrew Lay did this like cool little art piece that was just like a kind of very painted, like awesome looking Transformer thing. But it had those retro feel where like it looked like the cars kind of, you know. And I loved it. It's so great. So
I
I'm
don't know
not a
who
fan.
this is. Do you have a reference of this
I I
person? This.
I mean, I would take me a while to find. So that's my.
Okay,
I
okay,
don't have it on me
okay.
right now.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. His name is what? Andrew Lay?
Yeah. I don't know if
L
you'd be able
A
to find
Y
it.
or L
L E
L E
Y
I?
L E
L
Y.
E
But
Y?
I don't know. I don't know how easy it is to find, or if it was just a little thing he did on concept art. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think of the new designs? You have any
There's
opinion
new
on?
designs. I have no idea, and I never got into Transformers. I tried, but I can't watch those kinds of movies where it's just action. It's like I am not a big action person.
I'm a big action person.
Yeah, you're a big
Spit
action.
it out.
Um, someone eParify is asking any tips on drawing electrical components and details on mechs.
Ooh, that's a tricky one. I don't feel like I have the answers for that at the moment. Hmm. I don't know. Usually, you just kind of more make a little bit of chaos goes a long way. But oh man, that's tough.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't feel like I've that's ever been a strong point for me. It's like the noodling of
Well,
the
you handle it in the
internals.
silhouette, right?
Yeah, I would like to be better at doing that noodling stuff with components and things, but I'm not.
Yeah. Um, when I want to get good at noodling, the biggest thing that helped me was
Please
to
make
add
a.
salt to the water.
I knew it was coming.
Okay. Okay.
It is good advice. Salt to the water is actually good noodling advice.
Gavoyan, why, Sycra, why are you still friends with Cartoon Block after what he has done? What has he done? Did he
He,
kill somebody?
yeah, he blocked just in case.
Oh, he blocked just in case. Yeah, well,
No,
I'm not a
I'm
fan of
sure that he did
blocking
something else.
people,
I
but
don't know. I have
yeah.
no idea.
Uh, well, I feel like if he's watching Cynic's stream,
He's not.
maybe blocking people. I don't know. I'm not a supporter of blocking
Me
people
neither.
unless they're very like I'm never blocked. I think I
I've never
yeah I
blocked
don't think
anyone.
I've blocked anybody. Yeah, I haven't blocked anybody. Um. Oh man, Double Mess says Blue Flay has a great video showing electrics on mechs. So there you go.
Okay.
There you go. If you want to know how Cynics does something, go to Blue Flay. Um, Luke asks, "Who these questions are derailed? You guys get back on the rails. Who would win between you two in a street fight? Probably Cynics. He's taller. He can punch
That's
me
your only
like punch
basis.
down.
You do way more.
I
Does
do
that
way
matter?
more, probably.
I don't know. You seem like a big baby though. I don't know. We'll find out someday.
I'm not. Uh, I used to do martial arts. Does that help?
Not really.
Yeah. So I've become very fearful in my old age. I don't like walking downstairs very much. It hurts my knees, and I'm very like I don't really want to. I don't engage in those
In
kinds of
fisticuffs.
things. Yeah, I fought when I was younger. That's something, but not in my not any in the past 10 years. I don't think I've fought.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting.
have you ever been in fights?
Not really.
You know who's been in fights is that Jetty Jet.
Yes. Oh yeah, he has, hasn't he? He's beaten some
Yeah,
butts. I believe that's what they
yeah,
call it. Butt beating.
yeah. They do. Yo, man, I'm gonna beat your butt. Then they proceed. Okay, Cartoon Block says that his paid tutorials are only for serious artists, and Justin and me disagree. And he blocked Justin because someone said he was Jesus. What?
I don't know.
Someone said he was a troll. He is idiot. I don't know. Well, okay. Here's the thing.
I'm not a fan of pay tutorials.
If you don't want paid tutorials, just don't watch it.
Yeah, really.
I don't see what the thing.
Yeah, if people want to charge, let them charge. You don't have to watch it.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, you don't have to watch it. It's not a big deal. There's plenty of free content out there. You can always learn stuff yourself. Yeah. It's not a big deal. It's not like me and Sycra had YouTube videos to watch. We made the YouTube videos because there was nothing like it. Boom, 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 boom. Jesus,
these comments.
Your microphone's annoying.
I'm
gonna turn you down a little. You got loud all of a sudden.
I'm sorry.
It's so inconsistent.
Okay. Question for Cynics. Do you find it kind of hard to draw out in public, or even trying to draw people without them noticing?
No. Without them noticing? I don't know. Not really. I've never had any awesome experiences with like outdoor sketching. Some people, I'm sure Will Terrell has. He does it a lot. I've never had any of those experiences where someone's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know, like you noticed and like had any kind of reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll tell people when we're drawing them if we're like, "Hey, you want to check this out? Look, it's you," and they'll be like, "Ah, that's cool."
Okay, PSC Man 3 says, "Hey guys, lately I have a huge trouble with drawing from imagination. I have a ton of ideas and stuff, but drawing from imagination just kills my drive. Drawing with reference is easy. Help."
That's I don't know. I don't have great advice for that one, I don't think. Drawing from imagination is tough. I have a different background where I always would draw from imagination, and it took me a long time to be comfortable drawing from reference. So I'm not the right person to ask, really. I did find it really hard to draw from reference compared to draw from imagination. I think the main kind of trouble is that when you're drawing from reference versus if you're used to drawing from imagination, it's like you tend to be focused too much on these little parts and you lose track of the bigger picture. Or you're just not, thinking in a very creative way. So you're like trying to piece something together, and instead of just kind of doing what feels good or what seems fun. So I don't know.
I think it's much easier to draw from reference as well. For me anyway, it was easier. But the thing is that I always thought that's taken for granted. Like, well, of course, because you have the reference, and drawing from imagination, you have to think of it. And so my advice to people is always to draw a lot more from imagination, and expect that it's gonna be easier drawing from reference if you're good at copying. Because I was okay at copying, but I wasn't that good at not copying.
Man, I'm wasting a lot of time on this face. I always draw slower when I'm on stream. I don't know why.
Because you're multitasking.
That's true.
I mean, it's not a big secret. Okay, Sky C asks, I'm in college. How do you guys balance artwork and friends? Life is very time consuming and everything takes away from my time to practice. Well, that's easy. You have things like friends and...
I don't know. It's helpful if your friend activities also involve art. Like painting groups and stuff. Figure drawing groups. People sketching.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think a lot of it is sacrifice. You just have to determine what. Like, it's not I don't know how reasonable it is to assume that you can get everything. Like, oh, I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
play games
it's true.
and go to a movie and get better at drawing. It's like eventually you're gonna have to cut one or the other.
Yeah, I've pretty much cut out video games, which sucks because I like video games a lot, but I don't
Yep.
have time.
Yep.
It's time
Just
to.
in case asks, will you two ever say what you really think about cartoon block?
I don't. I'll be honest. I don't. I don't think I've ever actually watched a cartoon vlog video. So I did. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about cartoon vlog.
Uh,
It's not for me,
okay.
obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
I feel like
question.
his
Why do you,
or well, no, I don't gotta
uh,
get into it. I feel like his motivations for doing stuff are completely different than mine.
different how?
Like
Oh,
he's approaching like YouTube and stuff like it's he has this very business kind of mindset where he wants to network, and it just I don't know. It's like to me it's just like a fun thing that I would do even if there was no rewards basically.
what
So
about Patreon?
um
Is it the same with Patreon? Is it just a fun thing you would do if there was no rewards?
well, I don't know. Patreon's me. Like I never really thought I would
Um,
start one, but I started
yeah.
one, and it seems like I don't certainly don't regret it at all because it's like I've been interacting more with the different people too. So it's just kind of like this added fun thing. But I would never like want to take away like video content just and like have it be paid too. But like having this is just like a fun little thing. Like hey, we can draw pictures of you and maybe interact and do dumb stuff or send paintings. I've enjoyed sending paintings to people because it does feel like you're I don't know like you're getting something that's kind of fun. Like I would love to have paintings by artists I like and just kind of get them for well for really kind of any price, but just to have them though and just to like have them randomly like oh, wow I'm getting a painting from like if I just had one from Ashley Wood, imagine how happy I would be. It'd be my favorite thing in the world. So I feel like I
Yeah.
found a good use for Patreon just to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I painted myself into a corner by sort of making fun of it a lot, but I
I
guess
made fun of it a lot too, and I still whatever. I realize that it can be fun, so don't
I
feel
think
like you can't start one, Sycra.
I think
There's
the
good uses
key
for it.
thing is that I would never make it a replacement and only an addition like you
Yeah,
did.
no, that's
Basically, you didn't make any videos, and then it's like, well, if you guys support me on Patreon, I might make videos. I'm like, cool, thanks. Um, I just anyway. Um,
no. I feel like we have very similar philosophies, so you'd probably I don't know.
I mean, the only thing I could think of as a reason for doing Patreon is two things. One is so I could do giveaways of like tangible products. I
Yeah,
like the idea.
that's why I actually researched before I started one. I made sure that I could request that people give their address like
Mhm.
like make it a requirement because I just wanted to be able to make sure that I'd be sending people stuff. So and once I saw that you can do stuff like that I was like okay let's try it.
Yeah, and then the other thing is just critiques because there are times where people want to critique, but it's like I still need money to live and time critiques take time,
Yeah,
so I would have it so it's like okay you want to pay for a critique and then I'll give you like a critique a month or something. That's the only thing I could think of is those two things like here I'm going to give you cards and a critique or something. um okay, question cynics, why do people say you are very mean when you are not airing on stream? What, people say you're mean?
you say I'm mean.
I thought only South Africans think you're mean.
That's not funny. You always say
So,
I'm mean.
do I?
That's always been a common thing anytime you're talking about me. You're like if people only
Uh,
knew what kind of horrible person he was. I don't know. I have
um,
a mean sense of humor. I guess that counts.
uh, I have always said, yeah, but Sinix is a good guy. After that, like I'll say, yeah, Sinix is a dick, yeah, but he's a good guy, or something. I think I'm pretty sure because You're mean in that kind of, a nice mean. Like, you'll say mean things, but it's not like you cause anybody to, go to the hospital and kill
Shut
themselves.
up. Shut up.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Prophet asks, ignore just in case in Gavoian they're just trolling for responses from you and cynics, but what's your question? I didn't see the question there.
Such a dick.
Sorry. I think I've surpassed you in dickishness.
I feel like you have too. I feel like the more we've hung out together, you've just like we've slowly reversed, and people are like, "Yeah, Cynics is a nice one," and
yes, you've become this nice guy.
And you always just look like some crazy, like jerk.
There was one stream I had where Will Terrell started being a jerk.
Really?
And it was weird because you weren't there. It was the stream you weren't there, and Will Terrell started being like you.
That was after we hung out, probably.
Yeah.
Because I hung out with Will Terrell, and then I think he did a stream with you, like not soon after.
Yeah. You infect people. This is how you survive. There's an old episode of Star Trek Next Generation, and there's a diplomat, and he gains youth and control of his emotions by putting his negative emotions on someone else, and by doing that he's able to perform very nicely, and that's you, Cynics.
Okay.
Okay.
Oops, I am messing these up so horribly. Okay, I gotta start paying attention to stuff.
Oh, that's I have a question for you.
Okay.
How much do you think about the design aspect, like the finished product, and like you put the yellow and the red and the blue thing beside, like how much of that is thought out with you, and how much do you just go by intuition?
It's not really thought out. I just kind of play with it. In the places I need to play with it. It's like if I'm like, what should I do here? Like I want something there, and it's like, okay, maybe I can mix in a little bit of some warmer tones, and maybe it'll look cool. They're just like guidelines. I don't have anything figured out beforehand, before I see what something looks like.
But you've always had this where you'll take an image and then you'll present it. So like at the end you'll put the letters behind their head, and it's like, wow, this looks cool in graphically.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
I was just wondering, like, is this something you only do at the end, or when you start, do you already have this in mind? Like, I'm kind
of. Oh no, that definitely comes at the end, where I look at something. Usually it's like, well, I don't want to do a background, so let me just put some cool graphical stuff, or just like frame it like it's graffiti, and like be like, okay, this tangent would look good if there was another tangent like here coming out of it, or there, and it just kind of becomes a fun thing. I don't know.
Eat Perfect has a suggestion, which I think would be cool as well. He says, Cynics, you should do a stream with you doing some traditional painting.
I don't know how I agree, but I don't know how to do
awesome.
It.
Yeah.
You've done stuff with traditional work. I feel like I need some kind of contraption that would put a camera like on a board.
What I've used is like you can get some desk lamps from anywhere. I think ours are from IKEA. You get the desk lamp and you remove the lamp portion and you replace it with the screw that attaches to a camera thingy.
Huh.
I don't know what it's called, but I think it fits. Like there's a certain screw with a thingy, and it fits in cameras because they have that whole screw at the bottom.
Yeah, I know. They all have this standardized tripod mount.
Sorry, I call it a hole screw, but yes, they have a standardized tripod mount. I'm sorry, I didn't go to college.
I didn't go to high school. No.
Really? Were you homeschooled?
No,
you seem like someone who's homeschooled.
No, I don't. I don't even know what that means.
Um,
I was kicked out of high school.
were you?
I
For what?
was for being a bad apple.
Oh. Uh,
For
well, you
having
were a
problems
person,
with
so
authority, to be honest.
yeah, I
I
get
always
that.
had huge problems with authority.
Yeah, me too. Oh man, I got terrible marks in art because of this as well.
Oh yeah?
I had a C in art because the teacher really didn't like me. Every day was fucking detention. Every
It's
day.
it's weird that I have such this huge problem with like authority figures and people who want to teach me. And then like what do I do for fun? Like teach people. Try
I
to
think people who have problem with authority tend to be better teachers anyway.
maybe.
Because it's like you get the people that are sort of they're from an environment where they really respect authority, and I've noticed, and maybe I'm going to offend people now, but it's just something I've noticed. I could be wrong. If you're one of these people, you're probably not like this, but anyway, they tend to get very dogmatic and like, oh, I learned this method, therefore this method is the best method. It's like,
Uh-huh.
well, but that's because you just so happen to learn that method. What if you learned a different method? And it's the same with people who are very patriotic, like, oh, my country's the best. Why? Because you were born there? Like, I don't get it. Like, have you been to every single country and grown up there? Like, how would you know? Whereas people who are more rebellious tend to be a bit more open-minded as well, because it's like, I don't know. That's just my experience.
Yeah. So is
Uh,
that our common bonding thing that we're both terrible with authority? This is why we both
Probably.
make YouTube videos.
I think it's
Because we
also
hate the
that we have,
establishment.
yeah, yeah, and that we make bad jokes. I think that helps. Um, I would say that we're both interested in art, but I know you don't really think I'm good at art. So,
I think you're
uh,
okay at art. That was the best I could do.
thanks, Cynics. Okay, question.
For the record, I always liked your old caricature stuff that you used to do.
Yeah,
I always thought like, man,
I
that's
feel
so good.
like
Like, cause I try to do that now, and I'm like, I can't. I'm not good at that.
I feel
I
like
could use some of
everybody
that right
has
now.
a period of me that they like and don't like the rest. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I liked it when you were doing the card stuff, and the stuff you're doing now is lame. And other people are like, some people like the caricature, some people hate it, some people like the manga thing where it's like, oh, I like how you're going in this new direction. I can't please
I
everybody.
enjoy your videos a lot more now that I know you, though. I find them much more
Um,
amusing.
why?
I don't know. It's because I picture you like planning things, or like thinking about things, and I can kind of have an idea what's going through your head, and it's more
No,
amusing
is
to me.
that funny to see what's going on in my head? I think that would be disturbing.
No, it's pretty great.
Okay. Um, question for Cynics. Why did you forget to add the shoulders?
Because people don't have shoulders.
Yeah, it's a
No, I
myth.
don't like
Yeah.
shoulders. Screw that. I'm going for a thing. It's like a style thing. I thought
Yeah.
I've just been messing around with it just for these past the past month of these patron things.
Uh,
Everyone's a weird midget baby.
Sky C says in quotations, "I liked it when you were doing that thing you hated." Um, okay, greed. 13.
Shit.
I dislike when people put the Roman numerals because I have to count them like a. Is it politically incorrect to say retard?
I don't know.
It is, right?
Not in
That's like
Romania, I'm
wrong.
sure.
Well, Romania standards are different. Um, okay.
Oops.
Taco Del Sycra, you sound like you're nervous when you talk. I don't know how to explain it. It's because I'm nervous all the time. I have anxiety issues.
Aww.
But I learned to make it part of my thing. Because here's the thing. I talk like this and I get very nervous, like, oh, you just hit puberty. But before, I wouldn't sound quite like this, and I would scare everybody because I already look pretty intimidating. And then if I sound scary, it's like, oh, now it's two scary things, and I don't want people to be afraid of me. And I find it's much nicer when I'm non-threatening and just whatever. Because I always have this, like, I have an appearance that doesn't match my character, and I keep thinking I'm really short
I
for
guess
some
that's true.
reason.
You do seem to be obsessed with being short.
Well, I see people walking down the street, and I'll, like, Flavia's really short, and so she'll be like, well, I'd be like, whoa, that guy's so tall. And then she's like, you're taller than him. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then I'll walk towards him until I pass him, and it's like, oh, I'm much taller than him. That's weird. But I keep getting this wrong. Like, I think I'm really small.
You
And
think this has to do with your problem with authority? You think this is all some kind of deep, like rooted psychological thing, where you have a
yeah,
problem with people and you see everyone as an adult trying to scold you?
I think it's not just that. I think it's like there's more to it than that, but it's pretty much that. I think of myself not as I am, but as a child would. Like, I see the world still as a child would. And
Yeah.
that's probably why I'm still relating to young people so well. Um, anyway,
I'm curious. Do you look at your
13.
analytics for your videos? Like, how old are your average viewers?
It was a pretty big margin,
Because
but I think
mine's
now
pretty
it's
old.
getting more. Yeah, mine was pretty old as well, but I don't know. I haven't seen that in a while. I know the male and female is roughly 30% female,
Oh, that's higher
70%
than
male.
mine. Mine was always like
I
10%. I think it's
I
gotten better over the years though.
I wanted it 50-50. I've always wanted it 50-50. I
Yeah,
thought that would be cool.
it would be.
Um, anyway, question for both. How do you guys feel when you see an artist that is so much better that when you look at your art, it just feels like you'll never get to that level? For me, it would be Dave Raposa.
Dave Raposa. You mean, is that you saying that or the question asker?
No, that's a question asker.
Okay.
Is saying for me it would be Dave Raposa. No, for me it would be only Kim Jong Gi.
Yeah,
And
I don't see
maybe
people
Joe
that
Mad.
I feel like are at a point I can't get to.
Yeah.
No one has made me feel that way.
Wow.
And that's a good attitude.
And must be nice. Um, E Parafai says, I liked it when you were drawing hentai. When were you drawing hentai?
I wasn't drawing hentai.
I want to see you draw
I
hentai.
don't think I've ever drawn hentai. Man, I'm being so boring with this face. It's making me sad now. I'm just not
Um,
getting into it. Okay. Okay. Let me think real fast.
what do you do when you're stuck? That's like, this is a good thing of like, are you gonna keep noodling it or are you gonna do something different?
I'm probably gonna usually I just do something different.
If I was you, I'd flip it and then try and get a new perspective. That's
Yeah.
what the
Let's see
fuck.
how that goes.
I mean, what the
Um,
fun am I doing?
rotate. Like flip it that way, or
Well, yeah.
vertically.
I don't know. I can't see your thing until it
Oh, that's
updates.
right. My bad.
But I'm sure whatever you did is probably right.
Sure. Why not?
Sakura, why don't you want kids? Because if I have kids, I need to make more money.
How do they know
And
this? Did we talk about that on stream?
we didn't. I don't know where Gavoian got his
Because
information.
we were
I feel
talking
like.
about that literally right before the
Yeah,
stream,
yeah.
which
So,
is like,
so it's like
are they
asking why I
spying
don't
on
want.
me?
Yeah.
How
Why
did he
don't I
know?
want kids? Yeah. I don't feel like. I think it's too much responsibility for a child like me. Um. Mad Double Man. Question. Sausage Fest on the Cynic stream. Well, is that a question?
What's the question?
Do you know how to flip your PureRef?
I don't really care, to be honest. I don't want to flip it.
Um, if you want more female viewers, just be a blonde, white teenage boy with a fringe haircut. So all you need is a fringe haircut, and you've got it, Cynics.
What is a fringe haircut?
I don't know, but it sounds like something. I don't know. Justin Bieber would have. I'm not sure what a fringe haircut is either. Challenge for Sycra. Go Patreon. Cynics $159. I don't know what it means.
You gonna start a Patreon now? Have we talked you into it?
Not now.
Okay,
Not now.
sometime. Telling you that this YouTube gives less and less every year.
I know. I've noticed this. YouTube is giving me much less, and I'm getting more views and more subscribers and less.
No matter what,
less
unless you're a superstar.
Like the problem is, I guess, at first I didn't start YouTube for money, so I had other stuff on the side, and then when I was getting more from YouTube, it meant I have to take less of these jobs that I hate.
Yeah, so you stopped taking jobs, and now you're like,
yeah, now I'm spoiled. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. So I only do jobs I'm interested. Well, not only, but I mostly do jobs I'm interested in, and I don't do many industry jobs or almost none. And it's like YouTube has kept me like, oh, okay, I have YouTube, so that helps a lot for me to do what I want to do. And now it's getting less and less, and I'm like, yeah, this is a problem. I probably need to do
stupid YouTube.
YouTube, how could you? And then I'll have to do Patreon and just be like, guys, I got
sign up for PSD files, please.
Yes. Do you want all my layers will be included? I think it'd be really funny if a person worked on one layer and did that.
I should do that.
Yeah.
Come get all your layers.
Okay. Black Nova 8 asks, how do you deal with narcissistic friends or negative prior who are closer to you? Prior? Anyway.
Prior?
Peers, maybe?
Peers?
My friends can be assholes that would put cynics to shame. Any advice would help. Any advice would help.
Any advice would help?
Oh, negative people, not prior. Okay. How do you deal with narcissistic friends? I don't know, cynics. Have you met any narcissistic people recently at any art galleries?
No.
Okay. I deal with, I don't know. I think
I feel
it's
like
kind of on you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you choose who you surround yourself with, but I really do think there's this expression, or I don't know if it's an expression, but it says you are a culmination of the 5 closest people to you. Like whoever the 5 closest friends are, that's who you are. So if you've got a bunch of negative people around you, you're pretty much negative. I don't know.
Interesting. Man, I am.
Sycra, you should start a Patreon. Maybe you could do a 1 stream per week thing like Cynics. That's the least I could do. 1 stream per week.
He already does a weekly video, right?
Yeah.
You haven't let up on that.
I haven't let up on that in years.
I never did weekly videos. I was always like once every, like random, go a couple months, make one, maybe make 3 in a month, and go a few more months.
Yeah.
It's been good for me. It keeps me focused.
I like it. I like it where it's like, I will. For me, it's Sunday. It'll be Sunday and or Saturday night, and I'm like, oh, whoa, it's a Cynics video. Oh yeah, he does videos every week. Like every single time I forget, and then I'm reminded. Oh yeah, that's what the Patreon thing was for. It's cool. I think Patreon helped you a lot.
Hopefully, yeah. It did. Keeps me strong.
Are you gonna do any monthly inspirations?
Oh yeah, I'm working on one right now. Yeah, so don't worry, I'm not completely out of my other videos. A monthly inspiration will be up this weekend. It's already been recorded and it's pretty much just being edited. I'm just working on it. So that'll be up. You guys can look forward to those. I plan on doing them every month again. I like those ones. It's fun for me just to look at other artists too and kind of talk about them. I like it. I like other artists.
Do you?
I do. I like sharing stuff too.
Cynics, Billy RS, are you ever going to make any more design theory videos? That's what originally got me to subscribe to you.
That was the original videos I made too. Well, that was actually why I made my channel, was to make those videos. But I kind of like said the main things that I needed to say, and I don't know. I guess I can keep like exploring it more, but I didn't really plan on making it like a giant series.
you need to do what everyone else does and just keep repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. You got to Bob Ross it up.
Maybe. Yeah. What did you think of? Did you watch Proco did a little video like Bob
Yeah, I
Ross?
saw it. I
What did you
saw it.
think of
I
that?
thought I think all his videos are really well done, like very well thought out. I thought it was very entertaining.
It was, although
Um,
it felt like he was kind of making fun of him, which is kind of weird.
yeah, I've always liked Bob Ross,
Yeah, me
and
too.
I don't know why people would make fun of him. Honestly, I personally felt like uh, he seems like a genuinely nice person. I
Yeah.
don't know. I have nothing really mean to say. I guess, and the jokes would always be about his afro, but that to me that's kind of weird. Like, a person's hairstyle is what takes precedent over their personality. But hey, that's like me. Um, let's see. Question. There's a lot of questions. Oh boy. Um,
Man, okay. What?
design videos.
Jeez,
How
I've wasted
long
so
have
much
you
time on
been
this.
drawing for?
What? Me?
Yeah. How long have you been drawing for? James Sung asks. I've been drawing for about a year now, and I still suck. A year?
Well, a year's not very
That's
long.
not a lot.
Depends how old you
That's,
are, because the older you are, the faster you can improve too.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. What's it been? 12 years now? Way too long.
Really? That's it?
Yeah.
I've been drawing longer than you. Damn
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah, but
I
I
guess you were
started
doing your
older, so I get to
skateboarding
improve
and
faster.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how it
I have
is.
a larger visual library because I started older.
I don't know. I think
Improving
you
at
just
stuff
have
seems
the.
easier. Unless it's like music or learning a language, then it's better to do it when you're young. But I think stuff like creative, like writing and things like that, I think they're better when you get older. When you
I
have
agree
more
about
of an
the writing.
opinion,
Yeah,
more of
yeah,
a just kind of, I don't know, experience to draw from.
yeah. Um, question: have you seen art by Dika Toolkit or Elfen Diary? Elfen Diary. I don't know who either of these people are. I'm sorry.
So that's a,
Have you seen?
I don't know.
Have
I
you
haven't
seen
heard that.
Dika Toolkit? Okay.
Unless it's you're
Um,
just pronouncing it weird.
I could be. It could be that. Dika, and then Toolkit. I don't know. How much time? The sombrero asks, how much time it took you to develop your style? I guess that
Hmm.
goes to you, Cynics.
Yeah. So you've been talking a lot about developing style. I never really felt like I spent time developing it, but I have. It wasn't like I didn't know I had a style until people told me I did. So
I've always found that really strange how people don't see that they have a very obvious style. Because for me, if I think my stuff would just look like pretty much what is in front of me if I didn't actively think about it.
you see, but you think that, but that's probably comes down to the same thing where no one you just wouldn't recognize it as a style unless someone kind of
But I
pointed it.
never wanted a mild style because when I was young, I would look at artists that always had like really pushed stuff, and I just never saw the world that way. And I keep bringing it back to The Simpsons, where it's like, The Simpsons are yellow. That's not because he sees them that way. That's not because Mike Groening was looking at people and like, oh, I see them as yellow, and this is just the way I see the world. It's like, no, it was a decision
Yeah.
to. There was like a thought behind it. So whenever people say that don't think about style thing, I get it, but it's kind of like they're talking about a different brain than I have. Like, oh, you'll just have the style naturally, and it's like,
Well, I feel
but the
like
style I have naturally isn't the one I want. It's too, it's too tame. It's like this isn't what I want. I want to be way more extreme.
yeah, I feel like my style or whatever style I have was kind of generated by just the way you naturally use the tools, or maybe just the tools you started using. So like using the thick and thin pen kind of generated this style, or using like different tools, or just drawing in ink. Like all my sketchbooks are just ink, so there's no erasing, there's no anything like that, and that kind of generated a certain style too. It's kind of more
Mhm.
simple, focused on these like dumb lines. But I don't know. And you know, it was also looking at what I liked and being like, I want to draw more stuff like that. Like maybe it was, you know, Ashley Wood influencing it, or Spart or someone just stealing from
Yeah.
people. No.
Yep. 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 Um, another giveaway question. How do you feel about beginner artists with crazy amounts of followers?
I don't know. Good for them. I don't know.
I'm glad I wasn't one of these people who got success when I was
I
very
know
young.
there's a
I
lot of
think it
people
would have
who
ruined me.
I would even like I was a fan of right when I was starting out, and
Yeah,
I feel like they got so much praise that they never went anywhere. And like I look at their art now and I'm like, man, that's it's how did I become so much better than this person that was so great when I was starting out?
yeah, I've seen that too. It's something that I feel it messes with your personality and your development.
Yeah, people just keep
I
telling you how
found
great you are.
it makes you kind of hard to relate to, and you yourself start to believe in it. Because I've seen guys I really admire, and like even Joe Mad, when I watch his interviews or interactions with people, I don't think he has a huge ego by any stretch, but I think he doesn't really. From what I saw, it didn't look like he had a grasp on what he was doing the way I guess artists would. Like when you're part of a community, it felt very much like you've been around this whole fan thing for so long. This is how you relate to it.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I don't know. If I'm saying something wrong and he wants to correct himself, he's welcome to come on my channel.
That's brilliant.
um,
I want to
man,
become
double
like
man.
Bill O'Reilly or something, and just like call him a coward every time he doesn't show up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's the matter, Joe
Have you
Mad coward? Is this show too real for you? Don't want to expose yourself. Yeah.
have you tried drawing while listening to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History? It gets intense. Love that podcast.
I haven't heard
I
that podcast.
I don't know this. Oh, Lily Hosegood. Oh, that's an unfortunate name. Um, Lily Hosegood asks, it's Hosegood, not Hoes. Um, how do you keep painterly brushstrokes in your work? I always tend to smooth things out too much.
You know, it's kind of a topic that I wanted to make a video about, but I don't actually know how to, or I don't even know like how everything that goes into it. But it's really just the idea of like stroke economy and the direction you brush stuff is so important. And one thing that always drives me insane, like if I watch people like draw or shades or just color stuff, is when people go like this, just like that. Well, you'll see it later on. I mean, you Sycra won't know, but the people watching will see it. Like when they just kind of scribble, like this is how you color something, or when you don't lift, like instead of hatching like this, they'll just go like this, because that looks so bad. And like it shows, you see their stroke. Like you would have to blend this a lot for it to look like anything good, and it would look super airbrushed. But if you just use your brush strokes and actually follow the form, either you know this way, you know, like follow the brow that way, or follow it this way, like perpendicular. Like that's all you need to do. So always be following either with the motion or perpendicular to it. Like, look, I can just draw lines on this face. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like pretty as long as the lines are following these forms. And then you can get away with so much. Like, look, I'm just gonna make lines everywhere instead of like actually coloring, and it can work. Like you can make this work.
Mm.
So you know, it's just stuff like that.
I think that comes back to why drawing is really important because the way you know which direction to put the brush. I think like
Well,
when I
that's
see
I think
the
that's mainly just knowing the form. Like, what's the form you're trying to show? Are you trying to and you just like knowing how the form works?
yeah, and that's a drawing problem.
Yeah, I guess.
Um, Sky Sea says seems like Cynic's style is defined a lot by the energy and specific kinds of shapes and lines. So maybe The people who develop a style naturally rely more on their muscles and intuition. You've been analyzed.
I've been analyzed. Was that a question? I didn't.
Or I don't know if you wanted to comment on it, but okay, I can find another question.
No, okay.
A Dead Prince says, design labs, yes or no?
Yes, but I'm a little slow on those.
And Lisa VDB as request, please could you guys maybe do a portfolio reviewing session in the future?
Yeah, sure, probably.
I'd like to see.
Always seems like a fun idea. He said you guys, not just me.
Have you done critiques? You've done critiques, right?
I've done paint overs and stuff. Not often.
Question. Sycra, I copy the way you draw the eyebrows connecting. My friend says I should stop. Is it bad if I keep doing it or no? I don't know. I was the only one doing that. But if yeah, Prophet, you're right. They develop more of a celebrity mindset and less of an artist mindset. I think you are right. Mythori says, gotta love how people think that you get good at art by just doing that one thing rather than years of study, practice, and experience.
Yeah, there's no one trick, but there are. It does help if you're learning the right things anyway. You can certainly get better faster.
Yep. Luke Hamilton asks, and this is pretty general, but what things do you disagree about art?
You mean me and you? Is that,
I don't know.
Is he saying like me and Sycra? What do we disagree on?
I think it's more general, but maybe it's something we disagree. I think the style thing is clearly so.
Yeah, we have kind of. Yeah, we have different tastes in things. I don't know if that's the same as disagreeing.
I think with me, it's more like I think everyone's opinion is valid to themselves, and like we're all individuals. So I might think drawing is really important, and someone else might never have done it and just really sees things in form and like sculpturally. And I can't say they're wrong, but I would say for me, drawing is really important. And that doesn't mean I'm saying they're wrong. That's really important. It's like, it's not right or wrong. It's just this person versus that person. What kind of person are you? And I think we're all just trying to find what works for us. And that's why it's good. There's a lot of different art channels. So I don't know. And as for in general, what do I disagree about art? Probably the money-making side of it. That bothers me a lot.
I forgot to do that. Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
By the way, I've started to notice when I was listening to your video with headphones that you do need to filter out your background sounds.
I need to what my background sounds?
Filter out all that fan noise and everything. You can do that, you know. You want me to show you sometime? It's well, there's a bunch of different things. Kind of gets into using the equalizer. Yeah, you really have to get into the equalizer and actually isolate the sound and kind of reduce it.
Because I noticed it changed so far. Everything I've done in terms of noise reduction or it's always made my voice sound different.
Oh yeah, it can that's why with the equalizer you actually have to kind of readjust the other parts. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's stupid. It'll sound a little different, but you can be minor with it.
Mobius asked, did you watch the new Feng Zhu vid? If so, what did you think? I don't know. I watch all of his videos, but I don't remember what you're referring to in terms of what do you think. And question, did you watch Craig Mullen's interview? Not yet, but I watched some of it, and I'm going to watch.
Is that the one you linked to me?
That's the one I linked to you.
Okay. I want to check that out. I like that guy.
Tycoon 10. asks, what makes something look realistic? I don't understand why Dan Levisi is able to paint so realistically. Been analyzing his art for 3 years, still can't understand what makes his art so realistic.
Usually, I don't know that artist, but um, usually it's gonna come down to understanding focal points. I feel like knowing how to blur certain parts and sharpen other parts. Because a lot of times when you're painting or doing stuff, you're not really doing a lot of like focal blurring, and if you can pull that type of stuff off, it helps to make things look very realistic. At least
I
that's just
think
like one thing.
I remember I watched an interview with him where he was, this is really old though, and he was talking about how far he zooms in, and like he'll zoom in crazy close and do all this like super rendered detail, and then when you zoom out, it looks very realistic. I personally like, I it's again, this is just my opinion, but I really hate that style. Like I hate the way he paints.
Yeah.
I don't find it appealing at all. I really hate hyper realism.
Yeah,
So
I'm not a big fan.
and I feel like it might have been you, Tekuntan, but I think you might have commented how Dan Levisi is better than Kim Jong-gi in rendering, and I completely disagree because rendering is one thing. If you can render basic objects like a sphere, a cylinder, a cube, a cone, things like that, you can render anything, and it's just a matter of like with hyper rendered stuff, it's just more like zooming in and fleshing things out, but you're still fleshing them out in the same way. You know, if you have a head and it's, you know, the form reads, and you have an eyeball and the form reads, well, the eyeball and the head are both just forms with light on them. It's just different. So when I would do caricatures that people would say, oh, it looks so realistic, it's not hard. I mean, I get the blocking done in an hour, and then I spend 15 hours just zooming in and doing all sorts of little
Oops.
painting things. But it's not hard. Like the knowledge is in that first hour. It's the exact same as the 15 hours. It's just from that point on, you're doing more pay attention to values, pay attention to light, and render the form in smaller and smaller increments to the point that you could technically zoom in and draw every individual pore and put the highlights on the pimple.
I've seen people do that.
You could do it, and it's like, I don't know, to me I just think, what's the point? Because your eyes don't see that way. When you look at stuff, you don't see everything that rendered. At least I don't, and even when I put on my glasses, I don't see it that.
Yeah, I like to focus on the kind of blurry-eyed approach.
Okay, sorry, Tekun-tan, it wasn't you who compared, but someone actually compared Kim Jong-gi and Dan Levisi.
How
Said,
dare
oh,
they?
Dan Levisi's much better at rendering, and I'm like, no, 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 no.
Well, yeah.
Devoyan asks, is the dude who is being drawn in this chat?
I don't know.
I wonder that too.
He did ask when the stream was coming out. You can tell me if he is.
I think it would be cool if he is, and then he can say how good a job it does this look like you. I wonder how it feels to have your face on a stream for 2 hours. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's probably super weird for him.
It hasn't been 2 hours, though. It's only an hour and 7 minutes so far.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm gonna just quickly save this and mess around for a little bit. It's been an hour. What's this? Oh wait. Okay. Anyway, just want to say.
Golden Crane asks, Cynics, you improved really fast, right? Couldn't you make a guide like the IC One Stop Beginner's Guide or something like that? Also, Sycra, why aren't you browsing IC? The only reason I know about this is because of Cynics.
That's not true.
I don't even know about IC.
It's not true.
But you're the one who always is saying,
you brought it up first.
People are saying,
and then I started.
Me? The 4chan thing?
Yeah, you brought it up before I did.
Well, I'm sorry if I brought it up. Then I apologize.
Oh, I forgot. I can't do this on Photoshop. Man.
Cynics would bring it up. You would bring it up.
I would bring it up to make fun of you. Yes.
Exactly. You see. But yeah. So why aren't? Could you make a big? could you make a guide like the One Stop Beginner's Guide or something like that? Is the question
I
to you.
don't. I don't know. I don't know. These all my videos are like a compendium of all the knowledge, and I'm not really good at summing everything up in individual things.
I'm curious if you agree or disagree with this, but the way I'm seeing it more and more is that part of becoming a good artist is being someone who can figure stuff out without the guides. Like, just like growing is having that struggle. And when something is just given to you on a silver platter, it's very easy to take it for granted and not really improve as much as you need to. But what do you think?
Possibly. But it also it's important to have a like an inspiration kind of source and like some kind of thing that you can say, okay, if I do this, I don't know, just something to help you kind of believe. But yeah, a lot of it is gonna be figuring it stuff out on your own. It's gonna make you great. But I don't know. It's hard to say because I know there were critiques that I had read when I was just learning stuff that really just shot me in the right direction or just made me realize something else. So
Yeah.
I don't want to say like learning stuff on your own is.
Well, I don't mean in a vacuum, but
Yeah.
I mean the drive to figure things out and like have a hunger to not just want things given to you. Because I mean, I probably would have wanted that too when I was starting out. I probably would have been like, yeah, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. But I think not having that is what made me stronger. And another thing that I think is really useful is no matter what level you are, if you imagine you're teaching someone just a level below you, like one step below you, everything you know, it really helps to identify what your weaknesses are. Because every time I make a video and I think, yeah, I know this type of subject, not every time, because some of them are okay. But before anyway, it would be every time I made a video, I realized like I don't really know this thing as well as I thought I did, because I wouldn't be able to articulate it properly.
Yeah. I always I felt like anytime I learned something, like when I started out, that's when I wanted to make a video right away because I knew I would forget all the things I was learning at the time. Especially when you're trying to learn stuff on your own. So that was always a motivation to make videos was just to learn stuff. I learned a lot just making my videos.
Okay, Mobius X, who is the person who you are drawing, says, "Yes, I'm on stream. My daughter keeps asking why I'm on YouTube, and I love the pic."
Oh, yeah. So I saved that. I'll come back to it and probably finish it later. But I want to do some fun paint exploration, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just gonna like
Deconstruction.
yeah, just mess around a bit, move things around, just take things apart. I see. This is the one thing. Painter sucks at just kind of messing around with things and moving things around. I wish I could do all the like fun cloning stuff and just moving stuff that I can do in Photoshop. But all this stuff is terrible. Anyway.
Gavoin says, "I've only been doing it for a year, so I'm not good." You're good, Gavoin. Don't worry, you're doing fine. You're a funny troll who is really, really trollish, but I think you're actually like seriously, your work is quite good. Takuntan. Sycra, you said you played Xenogears. Who is your favorite character and whose robot is your favorite?
Fenrir. Can I play too?
I liked. Yeah.
Satan and Fenrir.
I only remember.
Such a copycat. Don't copy me.
I only remember two characters because, or one character really, other than Fei Fang Wang Wang.
Fei Wang.
Fei Fang Wang, something like that.
And Weltal.
Because my Skype image is still the one I used when I was 15, and it's a picture of Id, but Id has red hair, and I made it purpley blue instead of red, and I call it Edit Id because it's edited.
I get it. Man, I remember getting stuck in that game in the sewers trying to fight that red rum guy. Man, that was horrible.
Yeah.
I had to level up for that.
Oh, that game! The first time I loaded it, and then you hear the village music, and it's just so happy, and it's like, yes. I don't know. I really like that game.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
That's great. I like the. I guess my favorite would be the fully upgraded main character's
Really? You like the
whatever
main?
thing.
I liked Fenrir because he
No,
had a
wait, that's
sword.
not the white one.
Fenrir
Who
had a
had the red
sword,
one? I like the red one.
and I
I
was super
guess
into
that
swords when I was
probably
a kid.
kids. I was into swords too.
Yeah, we were all into swords. Every kid
Um,
is into swords.
I don't know. I think there's a split because I was never into guns, and I think a lot of kids were into guns, and I was more on
Maybe.
into swords. I never liked guns.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm. Do, 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 do.
okay. I am not asked any tips on painting with low contrast and not losing the feeling of depth and the shape.
Mm, I find well, one of the most important things about showing depth is just watching your tangents, because I find that people. I was talking about that earlier today, someone, but you really have to watch tangent. I feel like tangents are such a huge part of art that just kind of sometimes gets overlooked when you're starting out. And it's really why I did that whole kind of graffiti video, because I really wanted just a fun way to show people about tangents. But it is such an important thing. Like, let me see if I could do a quick example. I can do it like here. So, like, say I'm drawing like a figure, and I'll kind of use the example that the person showed me earlier. So it's like a figure, and they're bending over, and their legs come forward, or something. And I think it was kind of like this, but so there was like their body and their head was here, and their this was like their body bending forward. So, oh wait, it's a horrible body. But basically, their legs were coming out here or something, and I don't remember how it looked, to be honest. But let's just say there were arms. Damn it, I don't. Okay, I can't remember how it looked. But the bottom line is that this kind of curve, which would normally be like a bend in the body, like so the legs are coming this way and the arms are going that way too. It just wasn't reading like it had much depth, because all you were seeing was this single flat shape, like because this connected to this, these lines connected. So you lost a lot of depth. But I guess I don't know. This is a terrible example. But the main thing to think about is that as humans, as hunters, and whatever you want to say, our primitive eye, it's trained really well to recognize shapes in things. So like recognize a predator by seeing the shapes. So our eye is trained so well to look at shapes that we'll see shapes and we'll recognize the shapes really well. So if you have lines that line up in ways that could be perceived as just single shapes, it kind of ruins it. It makes us flatten them into two-dimensional things. So it ruins. I didn't have a good example, but just hopefully that made some sense.
I think that's why people get killed by hippos so much, because it doesn't register as a predator.
Yeah, maybe.
Like all the shapes are telling you cute and friendly. Like, oh, this is cute. Oh, it doesn't have sharp teeth. It has those like blunt square teeth. And like, oh, cool. Okay. When you start drawing, Celsius asks, when you start drawing or studying, should you learn the foundations one by one and cycle them, or should you try learning them all at once? Shape, structure, values, colors, anatomy.
I personally think it's great to learn everything at once.
I think one by one. So we're disagreeing on this, but
well, it's the thing is, I think you get tired of stuff, and it's helpful. Like it keeps you energized if you're constantly doing something different.
I remember when I learned values, I had a teacher, and it was just 1 month. And in that 1 month, it was pretty brutal, but I spent probably 16 hours a day drawing only values, doing only still lifes. And then I would do, so I would do still lifes at his studio place, and then I would come home and do still lifes. And in that 1 month, my value ability went from complete noob to equivalent to most professionals. or
Uh-huh.
better than even most professionals that I saw. And it was this super focused thing that I don't know, I kind of feel like it helped me more than if I was doing a little bit of everything. Um, because it carried over. I mean, it was just
Copy
1 month,
paste.
and I haven't done that again. It's not like, oh, I had to relearn this. It was just a really intense, focused thing, and all I had to think about was that one thing: values. No color, no nothing, no imagination, no perspective, just values.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think both work.
I don't know. I just remember I was always finding new stuff to like, really keep me excited about art, like especially when I was, improving a lot and doing art basically all day. So it was I think if I was only interested in one aspect of art, it might have been harder to stay like as productive, but since it was like 1 week I'd just be like I'm just going to do animations this week cuz that looks like a fun thing to do and just completely learn it from scratch and be doing animations or stuff like that.
But I think what helped was having the teacher's eye, because I would think I got the values right, and then he'd be like, no, that's too light or that's too dark. And because it's from, like, we were doing, everything was from life, so it wasn't, there was no photo studies or anything. It was just, he'd set a still life in front of me, and then the paper, and then I would do it. And I had to make it as close to perfect as I could. And then I would think like, yeah, this looks right. And then he'd be like, no, that's too dark and that's too light. And I would just stare at the areas that he was talking about because I couldn't see it as too dark or too light. And I would just be like looking and looking back and forth and back and forth. And then something happened. The more I stared at it, eventually I started to see what he was seeing. And it's like, oh. And then as soon as I could see that, I'm like, oh, but then that means that this is too dark and this is too light. And it's almost like he forced my eye to level up
Yeah.
just by having a higher level looking down. This is wrong. What you think is right is actually wrong. And I think that's the one thing I could say is great about teachers, that I think if because I'm not a huge fan of art schools and stuff, but if there's anything I could say for it, and this was a private teacher, it wasn't an art school, but that would be it. Like, I think if you had a teacher who could just look at what you're trying to do and use all their experience to force your eye to level up to their level or get closer to their level, that would be amazing. You could improve so much faster.
Yeah.
Um, Tickle Toe says, "Is he painting Ned Stark?"
That am I right? I told you he looked
It
like
did.
I
It
told
did.
you Mobius looked like Sean
Okay.
Bean.
It did when you showed me the reference, but when it was your whatever, it looked like Paul Walker. When I just saw your thing, independent of the
Oh,
reference.
okay.
I am not, says, when I want to practice something, I will add that thing to a complete piece and never just repeat that one thing and leave it at that. Am I shooting myself in the foot with that method?
Um hmm. I didn't really. Sorry, I kind of spaced out and didn't hear the full question. So I'm pretending I'm
Um,
answering, but I don't actually remember what you said.
okay. I'm not asked. When I want to practice something, I will add that thing to a complete or final piece. I never just repeat that one thing and leave it at that. Am I shooting myself in the foot with that method?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Do you feel like you're shooting? It sounds like you have some worries. Like you feel like you're letting yourself down.
I think
Something
self
doesn't feel
doubt is
right.
one of the worst things. Like, people, I've had this a lot where I'll talk to people and they'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, well, what are you doing? And they'll tell me what they're doing. It's like, just do more of that. That seems to work. There's this thing with, I don't know how many times people have told me, like, I've seen, oh, I like using this tool. It's like, I like using this pen. Should I start using this other tool? But I hate using it. But should I use this instead? I'm like, why? Like, I don't. To me, that doesn't make sense. But you like using your pen, so you're like, what you need is a drawing or the mileage. You need to be doing this a lot, and of course, you need standards to be able to analyze. Is this good? Am I improving? Whatever. But more than anything, you need a ton of mileage. And if you're happy doing something, and if something's working with you, I think stick with it. Like, sure, go out of your comfort zone when you get bored, but if you're not bored, don't, because I feel like you will get bored eventually, and it's like, I'm bored with this. I want to try this, and that's fine. But I think people they have too much self doubt, and if they really think about it, I think they know what to do. like what would work for them, what would be good advice.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's even. Sycra, if you paid for that course, remember that money is a huge motivator. When you learn online for free and aren't motivated by having spent a lot of money, they need a different syllabus. I don't really know what you mean by that. So, I guess. Illuminate Design says, how would you guys suggest someone who's been working construction for the past decade and a half move towards landing a position in art/design?
Oh, I don't know. It's such a
I don't
tough
think it's
question.
that different. I don't think it's that different than everyone else. I mean, it's probably the same thing. Like you got to learn your proportions and your values and your
The good thing is,
uh,
at least you know you have a work ethic.
yeah.
Consider that
Um,
all the other people trying to do the same thing might not have the same work ethic. Try to think of things that you can use to your advantage in just the mental side of things.
mhm.
So there's plenty
mm,
of stuff.
Sarcastic says, I love watching people drawing than actually drawing with my own hands end up making me spend more time watch videos than actually drawing anyways to keep one motivated, just general ways.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey,
Um,
if art is to make you happy, maybe just watching other people draw is what makes you happy. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, yeah. Mm. Um, Profit question. I know you said you hated realistic rendering, but doesn't doing that kind of rendering still have its benefits when it comes to studying and improving? Um, I think it was Craig Rollins a long time ago on Cygen. He made a post about something like this where he said the way you learn to simplify is by detailing. Like you learn to detail as far as you can, make everything super rendered, and by doing that, you realize like, oh, I could have made this 10 brushstrokes into one brushstroke. I could have simplified this area, and doing that over and over again is how you actually learn to simplify. And I think there's truth to that because I was doing that with like when you look at my other caricatures, they were very polished, and now I don't do polished stuff. But I guess yeah, you're right. It does help some. But I don't know. What do you think, Cynics?
Um, I wasn't paying attention.
She wasn't paying attention. That's okay. I'll move on. How much Veldin20 asks, how much effort did you put into learning environments?
Ooh, not enough. I feel like environments are still a weakness for me, so I didn't put much effort into them. I still, I don't know, like environments. Like I can do simple outdoor environments because that's real easy, like organic stuff. You don't really have to know much, but there's a lot of intricacies that go into actually being good at other environments where it's really going to come down to your like all kind of design things, it's going to come down to your visual library and knowledge of a subject. So if you've studied architecture and stuff, you're going to have such a better grasp on how to draw that stuff. But
Do you find that certain times of the day or certain weather conditions are easier to paint than others?
easier to paint.
Yeah. Or, well, yeah, paint. Like,
Well, nighttime's probably the hardest thing to paint.
I think nighttime when it's raining is the hardest. But I don't know, maybe not,
I
because
don't.
I guess you
See.
get
I
a lot of.
personally find rain to be a thing that it makes it easier because then you can just focus on reflections, and reflections is hard. Like you know what to draw because you already have the other part of it. I think
I
it's
think the
I think it's
advantage
easy to
is
make things look good when you're drawing water and wet stuff. But
the thing with nighttime is with other times of the day, at least you can get reference with photos, but with nighttime, photos never look like how nighttime
yeah,
looks.
that's why it's tough.
I've only seen paintings that look like, oh, that looks like what nighttime looks like, which is why I think painting is awesome. It's just you
Painting is
still can see
awesome.
things like, yeah, that's what the world looks like. Cool. And photos, it's like, yeah, that looks nice, but it's not what things actually look like. Um, Chris Smith says, I'm working on a story, but having an issue with consistency with the character designs. Should I simplify the characters or work harder on being more consistent?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know. I've never really focused on a character that much. I know. I
Well, you
feel
did
like
your
that's a
truth
major
before.
problem. Yeah, but like actually, I feel like the tooth monster is a cop out because it's a lot easier to do something that doesn't have a very distinct or like a very simplified likeness and be able to draw that in any direction or whatever versus trying to actually draw people and having their likeness correct, look like very readable from every direction and just in any scene. So it's tough because I feel like that's why cartoons and things have very silly and distorted views on all the characters because so you can read the silhouette easily. But I don't know. I mean, you're asking if it's if you should modify your style or just get better. I don't know. It's really up to you, I guess.
I think because you said character design, I think maybe you should probably learn, like, upgrade your visual library or something. Because
Upgrade
the
your
style thing is like the last. To me, that's the last thing. Is your own, like, oh, this is just a technique, but the other stuff is sort of more important. James Heller asks, "Hey guys, do you think that it is physically possible to outrun gay thoughts?"
What?
Do you think it's physically? No, I don't think it's physically possible to outrun gay thoughts. I mean, no, I don't think so.
What a question to pick.
I just start reading and think about it later. I am not. Question: what are you guys struggling most with in your art right now? What are you struggling with most in your art?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that, to be honest. I think I'm
I'm
just
really struggling.
looking for the next, I don't know, next level. I guess my biggest struggle is just being lazy still. Even though I'm drawing more, still being lazy. It still feels like the biggest struggle.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think for me, it's presentation. It's making things look like they're a finished piece. My stuff tends to still look like it's a practice for something, not a thing in itself. Whereas I think for you, you don't have this issue. Your stuff always looks like, yeah, cool, it's done.
That's
Nice.
it? Okay.
I think so. I always felt that when I would look at your stuff. It's like, cool, you have this. I don't know. I think it comes from a design sense where you have a sense of this would look good and this makes this look finished. And I never had that. I'm trying to get it.
Hmm.
Um, Sycra, one time you talked about One Piece and Luffy in your vid. Did you mispronounce their names on purpose? And do you actually watch/like One Piece? I don't watch One Piece. I got to episode 400 and something. And I'm not even kidding.
That's a
Like,
giant commitment to be like, "Oh, I don't like it. Like I've given it 450 episodes. I don't think it's for
I
me.
am. I'm really like this because people told me it gets better later on.
Just
So I'm
wait,
like,
like
okay,
right around the 600 episode mark. That's where it starts to hit its stride.
okay. I watched to episode 477, and I really in the whole thing there was one character or one no there were two things I really liked in
Okay.
477 episodes, and I didn't feel like it was worth that. Like, I don't know, it was too much for me. Like Sanjay and Lufa and all that, it's just
I think you mean Luffy.
no, I think it's Lufa.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure it's Lufa. Um, anyway,
Excuse me, I believe.
okay, Sophia Shelton, have you guys ever consciously made the shift between making art for yourself and making art for an audience? If so, how do you go about it?
No. Artists.
I think I've had to do that when it's like right now I've been doing conventions and or stuff for conventions, and I'm thinking a lot more about like what do I do, or client work as well, because I do some freelance work still, and it's, I guess the thing is that you have to put yourself in their headspace more, and sometimes make decisions that you don't agree with, like design decisions where it's like, I don't think this looks very good, but it's what the clients want. It's what the client wants. And sometimes what I tend to do is whenever I give them designs, because usually it's like, okay, the first thing you do is sketches of concepts. Like they say, here's a character concept, and I'll do one that's really just what they want, like what they said, and then I'll do one that's what I would like, and then I do a bunch that are sort of, you know, in the middle, usually variations of what they said, but in ways that I think would look a bit better. And they tend to pick either the one they originally wanted or a variation. It's very rare that they'll actually pick what I think is cool.
Do you do the standard? See, your problem is you're not doing the standard thing of just making your presentation really good on the one you like, and then making the presentation kind of shit on the one you don't like. Like, not even the art, just like having like random flourishes and like decorations around it.
Or just put
where it's like non-artists will be like, ooh, that looks fancy.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they would be able to tell.
Nope.
I don't know. No. Maybe I should start doing that then.
Yeah, probably.
Night Alice says, do you think anyone can learn to draw well given enough practice?
Yes. Maybe not a blind person.
I think almost anyone. Like, it would be very tiny, the percentage that I would imagine couldn't do it, but it's sort of like the percentage of people who couldn't walk or couldn't speak or something. Like, yeah, those people exist, but they're a very small minority. Okay, James Heller. Cynics, is it true that you shine your kitchen floor using puppies like disposable towels?
Why do people think I'm like Bob Meatbag all the time?
Yeah.
You think he's excited that they're making a Human Centipede 3? Or is... I can't tell if he was the type of person that would like Human Centipede, or if he would be like, that's inaccurate. No.
Yeah.
It's that one where he's like, no, not realistic.
With Bob, he's very critical about the media he watches, like movies and stuff. You can give him like the cheap thrills, but that's more for YouTube clips. If he's actually going to watch things, he tends to have a pretty good view on things, like, oh, I'm looking for acting and I'm looking for shots and stuff. And, oh yeah, it had gore, but it wasn't very convincing. It wasn't really convincing.
Like, that's not what a puppy looks like when it explodes.
I actually really like the way he comments on media things. I learn a lot from listening to him. Let's see. Question. How long will you stay in Romania, Sycra? Why not take your girlfriend to Canada? Canada to Romania, easy. Romania to Canada.
If it was that easy to move from Romania to Canada, there wouldn't be anyone in Romania.
This is true. Did I tell you how the British government pays people in Romania for their like using public funds? They pay them their plane ticket to ship them back to Romania.
That's awesome.
I'm not even kidding. Um, okay, Wad Misered Zol says if you're looking for inspiration for, in this case, mech design, then look up games and shows that have mechs, and then look up their art and terms used in those media and terms used in their community. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It's like you can do this with pretty much anything. Like if you really like a movie for its music, well, look on IMDb for who the composer is. Then look at the other things that composer has composed, and there. You don't have to be limited to just whatever.
Whatever.
Whatever. I'm cynics. Whatever.
Whatever.
Everything is. Oh, it's 1:40. How far do you want to go? Are you gonna? I'm sort
just
of losing steam.
dorking around at this point, so it doesn't matter that much. Let me think. Oh, one. Yeah, we've been doing it enough. We can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Sorry,
my energy
cowboy
drink's
guy. I
wearing
don't
off.
know what I was gonna make you into. You can have a simple.
He's like a hitchhiker.
He does look like a hitchhiker. I'm gonna give him a.
Cowboy hitchhiker.
I'm gonna give him a
He
sombrero.
got join the wagon trail. But you know, he looks like Bob Meatbag a lot.
He does?
Yep, he does. That's what he looks like.
I guess he could be a hitchhiker.
He's really tall, and he's got that long face with a little bit of hair on top, and he's got very long, very long and tall.
Okay, so he's hitchhiking. And oops. Here, there's a pool of blood that he's walking out of.
Oh, at least you gave him a cowboy hat. I thought you were going to give him one of those triangle Chinese hats.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I could have.
Cynics wasn't in Vancouver, James Heller. Cynics would never come to Vancouver. Thank you. I am not. I am not. Says they like my Pointy Chin series.
Oh.
I think a lot of people are really going to hate my next episode of Pointy Chins because it's about squishy things and basically it's boobs and butts. Boobs and butts. And I'm going to get a lot of hate for it. But...
Probably. So much for your 50-50 ratio.
I know. Every time I'm killing it more. It's like I can't win. I'll either get one or get another. And it's like the more I be myself, the more I'm going to lose viewers, I imagine. Or polarize my audience. But after, it's going to be nicer because after that I'm doing hair.
Oh.
There's some people in Vancouver talking about Vancouver places.
Gross.
I miss Vancouver. Vancouver is great. Things
Vancouver.
work. Pointy boobs, indeed. Pointy boobs. I'm not even kidding. There are pointy boobs. You'll see some pointy boobs. Or at least, no, maybe that's in the next one. Okay, in 2 episodes you'll see pointy boobs. I do them well in advance, these things. Okay. I'm having trouble finding relevant questions.
Okay, I'll wrap it up. I was just messing around, making like some crashed spaceship or something. I was almost starting to see something in the
Well, I can. Okay, let me just. I can get a second wind if you want. I just
No,
have
no,
to.
I'm kidding. It's fine. Oops. Like this.
I don't know what this means, but someone said, "Hey, Cynic, someone told me that you got some gats on deck. What is a gats?"
I don't know.
Taco Dell asks, "How is your relationship with your dad?"
Fine. Sorry to let you down.
These questions are. Question from Mobius X. I feel like Mobius X's question should be answered just because his face was on for so long. That gives him extra.
We'll close it out with this
okay,
question.
the last question is Mobius's question: commercial art versus art for art.
What is all this?
Art for art's sake, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think commercial
plenty of good art gets created because people are forced to create it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it gives people an excuse to create cool stuff that they might not do. But it's like it depends. It's limiting to some people and it's better for some people.
Oh man, this is so garbagey. Well, whatever. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching, and thanks Sycra for joining me on this interesting little thing. I'm glad the audio hopefully worked out. I'll probably listen to it later and you'll be like 20 times louder than me or something.
Oh, no.
But I think that was good. So that's gonna be it for my weekly stream. You got anything coming up, Sycra, you want to mention? What's your video stuff?
I think the next one is the Pointy Chins episode I mentioned.
Nothing else.
That's going to be a disaster.
Are you gonna do any more stream stuff?
I'm hoping that the next stream is when Bob comes here because Bob's coming to Romania.
That's right. When is he coming?
April 28th.
That's soon. So when's the convention you're going to?
May 8th to 10th. Okay,
so May 8th to 10th, go find Sycra at the Eastern Bloc Anime Convention.
Eastern European. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Oh, and thanks, patron people. Where's my... Okay, hold on. There we go. Wait, that's you. Okay, I'm keep trying. There we go. Okay, bye, everyone.